Hi, I'm Lou Doherty, Chairman of the Railroad Committee for the museum, and here to show you a brief look at the Railroad Historical Center and our collection of 6 train cars, plus a steam engine and tender. This steam engine was built in 1905, so it's over 100 years old. 3 of our cars are over 100 years old. And we're going to take you on a brief look inside those. This first car is very special to Greenwood. It was built in 1914. It's a wooden vehicle. It is clad with steel on the outside, but it's basically a wooden. It brought travel to Greenwood. It became an electric vehicle that ran on the Piedmont and Northern Railroad from Greenwood to Greenville and Spartanburg and back. So it's very closely tied to Greenwood. This car is a Pullman car built in the late 1930s and updated in the 40s, but it ran on the Seaboard Railroad, which provided traffic through Greenwood, so many passengers traveled out of Greenwood on this vehicle. This car is also a Pullman vehicle, and it's a diner car which served on the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad in the Pennsylvania-New York area. It has a stainless steel kitchen and has a large dining room. This dining room can seat 48. We like to have people eat on the diner, and we have fundraisers which bring in some funds to support the Railroad Center. We have air conditioned these vehicles, so it is comfortable even in the summertime for our guests. This car is the 3rd Pullman that we have. It ran on the Erie Railroad, and it's a sleeper car, having 3 different compartments for sleeping. These first ones are private compartments for 2 that can be opened up for 4. This next section is for individual compartments for 1 person, and the beds fold down out of the wall. We have one that we can show you. So here you see it for sleeping at night. And the third type of accommodation is called an open section. It had curtains on each side, and we have some of the curtains up, but we didn't put them all up. And these are opened up so you can have bunk beds. One comes out of the wall, and the seats come together to make the lower bunk. Okay. You've seen tables in some of the rooms. The diner car could bring the meals to the compartments so they could be eaten there rather than going to the dining room. We go out onto the deck, which was added to provide access for handicapped and people that have trouble getting up and down. We have an elevator for them. This car is a Caboose. Caboose was only used on freight trains, but this is for the Piedmont and Northern Railroad, which service Greenwood. And you can see it's a spacious working area. Let me flip the lights on here, Kelly. Up above is a cupola, is an observation area so that people can, the workers could watch for problems down the train. This is a working area where the conductor would keep up with his paperwork and notifying the engineer as to which cars were to be delivered where. Flip the lights on. This car is very special to Greenwood. It also ran on the Piedmont and Northern Railroad. It was the executive car for the railroad executives to travel to various places in the country. It was the corporate jet of its day, if you will. Has a galley here, full galley, for providing meals for those on this car. It has mahogany paneling. This compartment was for the two workers on the train, the chef and the porter. This was their sleeping quarters. This was the president's suite. Has a double bed and everything they need, including toilet facilities and chest of drawers. This shower was not original to the car, but the owners of this collection used it for guest rooms. This was a typical bunk room for passengers on here. Also had toilet facilities and was very nicely appointed. Then during their travels, the executives would discuss their business that they were going to conduct on the trip. This was used as of course, a table for their meetings and also for meals when they were being served those. It has sconces that are original, they're brass, hand-painted shades. And Mr. James Self, who was on the board of directors of the Piedmont Northern Railroad and also founded Greenwood Mills, was a director, and he traveled on this train numerous times. This water tower was constructed for two reasons. We wanted something to protect the wheelchair lift that we have, and also since it's a steam engine, it needed a water tower, and this is a replica of one of those. I hope you've enjoyed our brief tour. We'd like to tell you the full story and let you see it in person, so please come to visit us.